because Megan had it figured out for me. So I wanted to give a little bit of brief history on Megan. I had the opportunity to meet her back at a sales workshop in Miami. She was there along with my husband, which is a doctor, and she as well as a chiropractor. And so she came along to just grow her business, and that was the chance that I got to meet her. She has grown through Instagram in a huge way, and it has been insanely inspiring even to me, like going through, and I've been watching her growth, and I've even been kind of swiping and deploying some of her tactics myself. So I wanted to bring her on, let her share her story with y'all and just how she's been able to grow using the platform. So yeah, Megan.
Hello. I'm glad we figured out our technical things. That's always, I feel like the crux of these is just figuring that out. But yeah, I have loved following you guys as well and your growth, and I love what you're doing for the hair industry. I think it's super inspiring. So we're just inspiring all around. But
exactly.
Yeah, with Instagram, I was actually really hesitant to even get on Instagram in general. I didn't understand how it worked, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have any cool pictures of myself," and I really didn't know how to kind of bridge that gap between who I am personally and what I wanted my business to be. And so it really took kind of just figuring out what I wanted to say through the platform. I had kind of dabbled with it a little bit. I think I had like maybe 100 followers, 200 followers this time last year. And I had, kind of did what everybody does, like post random pictures every now and then, but didn't really have a direction with it. And I didn't really even think about doing it that way. I was like, oh, I'll just have this app and then I will run my business separately. And then I started really getting into rock climbing and mountain climbing, and I started posting photos of myself doing it, and without even really thinking about the impact that had. And that is really what kind of exploded my Instagram, was really finding my voice on the platform as a plus size outdoor adventurer. I didn't see anybody else that looked like me doing the things that I was doing. I didn't see that in the outdoors, but through the app, I was able to find other people that were doing those activities. Through using the hashtags and different accounts, I was able to find other women that looked like me, that were climbers or mountain climbers or hikers. And that really kind of changed my perspective on what we can use the platform for and how we can use it to grow our own personal reach, which then will kind of bleed into business reach, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. They gotta like you first,
Yeah, totally. And I think that really helps you figure out kind of what your message is. If you don't know kind of who you're wanting to serve, looking at who's utilizing your content is a really great way to figure that out. I kind of thought that I had a different market than I did, and then when I started looking at who was looking at my Instagram, who was really resonating with the content that I was putting out, that really started to shape who I wanted to serve in business as well. And it really kind of changed my practice from now we're serving a lot more plus size women, we're serving people in bigger bodies, we're serving people with kind of trauma backgrounds, LGBTQ community as well. So it kind of just, by embracing who I am on Instagram, allowed me to really mold my business into people who liked me, respected me, trusted me, and now they want to improve their life through chiropractic care.
So if you have someone that does not understand how to get that information, how would you tell them? How do they even see who's seeing their stuff, who's viewing their stuff? I mean,
yeah. So there's 3 different types of profiles that you can have on Instagram. And this is kind of when someone's setting up their profiles, this is something that I like to have them look at. You can have just a regular personal, everyday personal Instagram. You can also have a creator, what's called a creator Instagram, and then you can have a business Instagram. So most people know about the personal and the business, but what Instagram wanted to do was really allow the platform to be utilized by people who didn't have traditional brick and mortar businesses. They were finding that the business platform was really for people who like had products or who had a traditional place that you could come to and do business that way. And so they created this creator profile, which is kind of a blend of the two. It's almost like the public figure page on Facebook, but it does three things that's really helpful. It gives you better insights. So it gives you daily analytics of who's looking at your posts, what their demographics are, where they're located, what their ages are, and then it does it per post. So when I click on my insights, it'll rank every post that I've ever done on its reach. So there's like one post that I made last year that has been at the top of my list for a long time. It's had thousands of people like it and comment on it. And it really exploded in reach. And so that one I can see, okay, this is, my number one post, and it just has every post I've ever done in order of how popular the reach was.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, it'll give you really specific analytics on that. The business profile does that, but it does it by week, and it doesn't do it per post.
Okay.
And so you can kind of see, okay, this week I gained some more followers or whatever, but it doesn't show you exactly who is liking the specific post that you're doing.
And so would you say after you went through and looked at all of your insights, and that's what kind of made you shift a little bit to your ideal client?
Yeah, because I could see, through my personal Instagram page, once I switched it to a creator page,
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of see, okay, these are the people that are really resonating with my message, with who I am as a person. And then I could kind of start to craft my business posts it's a little different between what my personal page is and what my business page is, but I could start to craft that a little bit more. Like once I saw like, okay, my personal page is really resonating with people in the plus size community and the LGBTQ community. So why don't I make business posts that show how we are serving those communities in my practice? So my number one performing post on my business page is actually a photo of my bathroom sign that just says all gender restroom. That's like my number one post on my business page. It's not something I would post on my personal page because my personal page is all outdoor body acceptance. Every person belongs outdoors, but that attitude and that feeling of everybody, we should be inclusive of everybody, that bleeds into my business as well. And so I can kind of see, okay, these are the people that are really connecting with me in this way. How can I put that into my business?
Okay. So the people that are watching right now we're all hairdressers.
Totally.
So before I heard your talk, I had mine as a business page, and we had talked further, and you actually recommended that I switched over to a creator page. Is this something that you would suggest to all hairdressers?
Yeah, I mean, and you can have multiple profiles as well. If you have, your own salon and kind of your own brick and mortar type thing, then it might make sense to have both. If you're kind of just a single hairdresser and you're renting from a salon or things like that, like it might just make sense to have that creator profile, because it'll give you those insights, but it also gives you it allows you to have your messages a little bit different. So I don't know how many like DM messages you get, but it gives you extra inbox in your Instagram. So in a personal Instagram and a business Instagram, you have you're just one inbox, and then if someone messages you and they're not a follower, it goes into your message requests, and then you have to basically allow them to be a follower, accept them as a follower to see their message. The creator profile gives you a general inbox. So if some random person messages you, you don't have to accept them into your personal inbox. You won't get the notifications. Sometimes I have just like really random people messaging me random things, and I'll put that into the general, because then I don't get a notification every time they message me. I only get, people that I know go into my personal inbox, and then random people go into my general inbox. And then the last thing that it allows you to do as a creator profile is it takes away or it gives you more flexibility with the little button that says like call now or contact now, that business profiles have. You can take that off, you can change it, you can make it different depending on what you need. So I would say as a hairstylist, I think it would be really beneficial to have a creator profile. If you're just going to have one, to have it be at least the creator and not the business one. And then if you do have your own salon, or you do have kind of other things that you do in that more traditional business sense, then having two would be helpful as well.
And so one thing that I try to preach about a lot is putting your face into your page. A lot of times as hairdressers, all we're doing is showing before and afters, before and afters. Here's the work that I've done. But how important would you say it is to put yourself in front of the camera, or even to show yourself within the page?
I think it's really important. I mean, I know like my hairstylist, I love him. I'll never go to another hairstylist as long as he's here because I really love him. And I know that he does good work, and he works at a salon that is full of curl specialists. And if I had to go to one of them, I would. But like I'm devoted to him, and I feel like that happens with hairstylists. Like you guys just get like people that are devoted to you, and people want to know you. I spend 4 hours getting my hair cut. Like I want to know that the person that I'm spending 4 hours with is someone who aligns with what I think in my worldview. And so you know, if I didn't like him, if I didn't want to talk with him, if I didn't, you know, if he had like some other worldview that didn't align with mine, I probably wouldn't be as devoted to him as I am. So I think showing who you are and showing your personality can really help narrow down, you know, who you're wanting to serve, so that you're not getting those problem clients that you're like, man, I just don't know why this person doesn't respect what I do. And it's like, well, they probably don't really like or respect you. And so really putting your own personality into your page and not just your work is, I think, really important.
So another aspect that I wanted to reach on is reach. I mean, how do you gain your reach and your followers and the connection that you have done so brilliantly on Instagram? Like, how do you do it?
So the biggest thing for me and how I've gained a lot of followers was finding other people in my community that were popular and engaging with their posts. I mean, we've talked about this a lot through hashtags. And so a lot of people don't know how to use hashtags properly. And I think that that's probably my biggest advice for people, is figuring out how to use them properly. A lot of people want to be cute and do like hashtag super long thing that makes no sense, or they're using hashtags that don't have a huge reach. So the way that hashtags work on Instagram is the more people that use that hashtag, the more popular those posts become. So if you're using something like hashtag hairstylist, you can actually click on that hashtag and see the most popular posts that are using that hashtag. So when I was trying to grow my business, I was, you know, on my business page, I was putting like hashtag chiropractic, clicking it, seeing what the most popular post was, and then taking things from that post that I thought were useful, whether it was the actual post was, the content of the post was great and I liked it, so I would create my own version. Or a lot of times I would take the hashtags off of those number one posts. So if you do hashtag hairstylist, look at the hashtags that the very number one post is using. A lot of times they are more general than really, really specific or really long and drawn out. And also using location hashtags was really important too. So the thing with my followers, and I think the thing that's important about followers, is you want followers that are going to engage with you, that are in your area, that especially if you have a business that's in a specific location, you want followers that are going to engage with you. It doesn't make sense to have 100,000 followers if nobody likes, comments, engages with you. So I mean, I've grown from 100 to a little over 2,700 in the last year, and all of those people really engage with me regularly. And the reason is I started using those location hashtags. So I use like hashtag Portland chiropractor, hashtag PDX, which is our airport code. Using those location hashtags will really get your posts. If they become popular, if people engage with them, we'll get them up on those on the hashtag search. So you can go into the search. When you search for someone, you can search for like, you know, a person, a business, but you can also search a tag. You can search hashtags. And so I started searching hashtags and seeing which ones were getting the most traffic and which ones were getting the most traffic in my specific area, and then started just putting those in my post.
So are you also going through and like liking and commenting on other people's posts?
Yeah. So one of the things that got me a lot of attention was I was in an Outside Magazine article. And the reason that I was in that article was that the woman who wrote the article I like obsessively stalked and hashtagged and commented on all her stuff. And now she's a really good friend of mine. So I noticed that she had an Instagram that was wildly popular with the outdoor community, with the plus size outdoor community. It's called Unlikely Hikers. And she celebrates diversity in the outdoors. She is a plus size LGBTQ Latina woman. And she was like, I'm tired of not having any representation. So she started the Unlikely Hikers Instagram, which has gained crazy popularity. She's been in the New York Times. She writes for Outdoor Magazine. And so I was like, I need to know this person. Plus she's in Portland. And so I just started liking all her posts, commenting on all her posts, tagging her in my outdoor adventures, using the Unlikely Hikers hashtag, because she had her own hashtag. And eventually she reposted one of my things, which then got me a ton of followers. And then she wrote an article for Outside Magazine and asked if she could include me in it. And I was like, yes, you want
Duh. Absolutely you can. What? Yes.
So she included me in that article, and that got me a ton of followers. And same thing, like there was another guy who does this really popular podcast for diversity in the outdoors. And so I started liking his posts, downloaded his podcast, listened to one of them, reposted it in my stories, you know, like, hey, I found this new podcast, hashtag whatever his hashtag was. And I added him in the story. You know, you can tag people in your stories. And he reached out and was like, oh my gosh, I would love to have you on the podcast. And I was like, oh, me? How did you find me? And like, yeah, no,
so weird.
I've been stalking you.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you know, mild stalking of people that you want their audience.
And it's presenting opportunities. And that's one of the things that I try to explain to people all the time. Like even I just announced that I'm going to be in New York for the Fashion Week, which I am so excited for. But the only reason that opportunity even happened was because of my visibility on Instagram. Had I not been posting, had I not been liking other people's pages and doing other comments and sharing and growing myself, I never would have even been seen. Totally. And it would have been that opportunity would have not been brought to me. And not only am I doing Fashion Week now, I was just on her podcast that I launched today, and it's already opening other doors. So, I mean, Instagram is such an amazing platform to grow your reach and expand and get to know people that are not just in your neck of the woods. And that's one aspect that I've been able to branch out to. But I've been behind the chair for 10 years now. I've had my Instagram I was probably one of the first people to have an Instagram, like at least for my business. And so now my mindset I'm not geared towards clients. I'm actually geared towards stylists. And so that's one aspect or one way that you can alter your Instagram. Your Instagram can be whatever you want it to be. You're telling your story on your page. And so that was, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. I mean, your story is so amazing. You went from having an idea to branding yourself out and then growing your reach all through Instagram's platform.
Yeah.
And another thing that I actually wanted to ask you about, what about the bio? I feel like the bio portion is super important. And one thing that's very confusing, I feel like, for a lot of us. So how would you instruct someone to lay out their bio?
Yeah, I think the bio is kind of underutilized by a lot of people. You know, it's only a certain number of characters that you can use, so you might have to play with it a little bit. But I really like, first of all, putting your location. If you're a location-based business, you know, if you're trying to have a wider reach, then that might not be as important, but it still is really helpful for the algorithms and for kind of your SEO and all that other like back internet nonsense. So I don't just have like Portland, Oregon. I put like a cute little emoji. I think I have a rose because we're the Rose City. And so I have like a little rose and it says like Portland, Oregon enthusiast. So it's just kind of like, you know, matches my personality, but I'm like a little bit kitschy and nerdy. And then I have like a couple little fun facts that really tell people about who I serve. So I think I have on there that I'm like a HAES provider, which is health at every size. I'm trauma informed. I'm LGBTQ friendly. So I have a couple little things. I like utilizing emojis because I think that just like puts my personality into it a little bit. And then you can put, for my business, I have my address and my phone number, kind of just how do people find you. And then you can also put in a link. So if you have more than 10,000 followers, you can do the swipe up thing and it'll take you directly to a page. If you don't have that, which most businesses or people who are just starting out won't have that for a little while, you can put a link, and then when you want someone to click that link on your post or in your story, you just say link in bio. And a lot of people just have their website there, but if you have a different goal, like if you want more Facebook followers, you can put Facebook link in bio, like join my Facebook group. Or if you're doing a seminar or you're going to be somewhere, or for me, when I was an outdoor, I put like, check out this article in Outdoor Magazine, link in the bio, and they could just go look at it. So you can utilize that link for a lot of different things. And I think people just feel pigeonholed, like I have to put my website there. But you can put all sorts of things in that link in bio. And so that's a good way to set that up. But really just putting a little blurb about who you are or who you serve or what you just really want people to resonate with. My bio is different on my personal page than it is on my creator page, because I'm looking for kind of different things with each profile. So really understanding what your goal with the platform is important.
So I heard you say the dreaded word algorithm, and that's something that everyone within Instagram hates.
Yeah.
Can you just give us a quick rundown on what that word even means?
Yeah. So, I mean, any social platform or really any internet thing, Google, Facebook, Instagram, they're all run by the same people. But Instagram is going to show people things on their news feed based on their interests, based on what they engage with. This is especially important if you're promoting posts, if you're doing ads, which is like a whole nother thing.
Whole other talk.
I'm like still trying to understand, but the Instagram gods, if you will, they, organize content based on what it thinks that you want to see. And the way that it figures out what you want to see is what you're engaging with, which is why you want to create content that people are liking, commenting, sharing, and why it's important for you when you're trying to grow your reach, for you to engage, like, comment with other people. It's not enough to just put up a post and be like, here I am.
There it is.
You need to, reciprocate that. You need to like, share, comment on other people's things. There are certain things that the Instagram algorithm likes and things that it doesn't like. And this changes constantly and people have different opinions about it. But what I found to be the best through my own use and also through researching with people who are smarter than me, is when you're using hashtags, it doesn't like if you're using too many or if they're too long. So I try to stick with about 7 to 9 hashtags. And like I said, it likes them more if they're the more popular they are. So when you're typing in a hashtag, it'll tell you on the side, kind of over to the right side, if how many people are using that. So like for hashtag hairstylist might have 1 million views, but if you added an S and made it plural, hairstylists, it might only have 100,000. So you want to use the one that's more
that has the most,
that has more reach. Yeah.
Now, what would you say about like posting? Does how often you post go into that algorithm as well?
Yeah. So it likes consistency, posting regularly, and your analytics will tell you when the people who like your content, who engage with your content, when they engage. So like for me, everyone really likes to like stuff on my things and comment with my stuff on Thursdays at 11. That's like the highest engagement. So your analytics will kind of show you what days and times. And if you're just,
so if y'all are unsure, this is kind of what she's talking about. You can go in and see all of your analytics and like the day, and then like what's the best time to post as well.
Yeah.
And this
is go ahead.
You good,
when
girl.
You're first starting, and kind of what I did was I started posting, and it takes a lot of work, but posting pretty much every day at 3 different times to figure out which time is the best.
Yeah. So if you can see on mine, I have it where it says Tuesday. So this is just Tuesday, and this shows me when I get the most likes on my images. And it goes from 12 a.m. to 9 p.m. So my peaks on Tuesdays only, and that's what I love about it, is because I can break it down to Tuesdays specifically. And from 12 to 6, I have the highest engagement in that day. So I know on Tuesday from 12 to 6, if I say I'm going to post 3 times a day, I'm going to put it within that realm or within those time slots.
Yeah. So you just have to play with it a little bit and really utilize those analytics to figure out when the people that you're talking to are engaging with you, and then you can start to schedule out posts and things like that. The algorithm likes what's called organic engagement, so engagement that's not paid for. Getting followers just because people like you, not paying for them, and also it likes engagement that is more than just a like. So when I'm commenting on somebody's stuff, I will like their post and then I'll comment on it. And for some reason, more than 3 words is kind of the cutoff there. So you don't just want to like it and give a thumbs up. You want to like it and put more than a couple words in there. It's usually like, hey, thanks, this is really cool. Or, if you actually really like it and have some comments about it, then you can put that in there. But even if it's somebody that I am in a business relationship with and I don't really utilize their service, but they're a referral partner or something, I'll post like, hey, this is really great content, thanks for your work, or just like acknowledging the labor that went into creating this post. There's nothing worse than creating a post and having like no likes and no comments. So
okay, so on the flip side of that, how important is it to comment back? So if someone makes a comment on my picture, how important is it for me to comment back to them?
I think it's important. I'm not sure where these things lie when it comes to the algorithm, but the more engagement on a post, the better. And so I always will comment back something.
Yeah, I tell that a lot because I'll see like other stylists or people that I coach, and I'll say they have a bunch of comments, but they're not commenting back. And I'm like, you got to engage back. Like if they're taking, and not only that, but if they're taking their time to comment on there, comment back, because also the amount of comments that you have on a post will jump your post higher up. So when someone opens up their phone, you're going to be one of the first ones that they see. And that's what you want. I think everyone's kind of heard this. It takes like the first 30 seconds before they kind of start to slow down on their likes. So they'll open up their phone, the first few that they see, you're guaranteed to get a like out of the first few that they open. But maybe they've been scrolling for 45 seconds, almost to an hour, and that's going to decrease the amount of likes that they're actually going to do.
Yeah. So I think, you definitely want to comment back. And also it just kind of makes it, I don't know, especially if you're getting clout. Like I had a girl comment on a post yesterday and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm totally fangirling. And like, I responded back and it just made her day. And that to me is bizarre. I'm like, oh gosh, people are fangirling. Like, that's weird. But think about how you comment on stuff. Like if you commented on somebody that you really looked up to and they not only saw your comment, but commented back, like that's a huge,
makes you feel good.
It feels good to get a comment back, and it's an acknowledgement of like, I've acknowledged that you have liked my thing, and I just want to thank you for that. So especially if you're a newer business, you have the time to do that. I don't think any of us is too busy to
not right now,
not comment back like, thanks for your thank you. And so, that's really important. And then sharing it too is really good. I do a lot of that where I'll share someone's post in my story, and that's clicking the little envelope icon, and that'll share to your story. And then I'll tag them too, because when you tag them, it gives them a message like, hey, this person has tagged you in a story, and then they can usually repost into their story. So the more you're doing all of this, the higher you're going to rank on that algorithm.
Yeah. So there's this big group called Behind the Chair, and they're actually doing a contest right now. And I went through and added one of my photos into my story, tagged them to it. But instead of just tagging them, I did like the mention, where there's that little area where you can do the @ and mention, because if you mention someone, that allows them to then share it themselves. So I got a reshare through Behind the Chair's mention and gained like 100 followers in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you always want to make sure that you re-mention them in your story, because even if you share their post, if you don't tag them in it by doing the mention, then they won't get notified. So there's been a couple times that people are like, oh yeah, I shared your post, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see it because you didn't. You got tagged.
You did. You gotta tag me.
Even if you make it like super small, you still have to.
It's gotta be in there.
Gotta be in there. So all of that stuff will really increase your reach as well.
That's awesome. One other thing though too is, what about like the stories, like your general story? How important do you think it is to stay active within that?
I think it's important, especially, the more often you're posting to your story, and the more consistent you are, it'll show up on their little,
A
when you
little
log in.
real.
Yeah, their little reel, exactly. So like people who
Mhm.
aren't super consistent, or people who I don't engage with on their stories, if I don't watch their stories for a while, they fall off my little wheel. So
Mhm.
it's really just staying top of mind, keeping in with people. With the stories, I usually post things that, like, in my life I don't feel like really like deserve a full post. So just like random things throughout my day. I do a lot of reposting of other people's stuff into my story. Um, some people use stories for educational type things. I've seen
Mhm.
that with some of my outdoor friends. They'll post, like, they'll share somebody else's post and then kind of like do a couple stories talking about whatever it was. So there's a couple
Mhm.
different ways to utilize stories, but I typically use it just kind of for like an everyday, like, check out what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I try and tell a lot of my like stylists too is I utilize the story to get them to feel like they know me. That's like the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
And then if
definitely.
I post it on my wall, that's all my work. Now you can go through and see everything that I do,
Yeah,
how to contact me through my bio, how to do all of that. But my story is the opportunity to let them get to know you. And
yeah,
that's something that and like the behind the scenes, the stuff that you're right. It doesn't necessarily justify as a post or doesn't necessarily belong on your wall, but it is good enough to put throughout the story.
yeah. And I use the stories too when I, like, if I visit another business, I'll like tag them and, take a picture and tag them in my stories. Yesterday I took a picture of like the sandwich that I ate at lunch and tagged the deli I got it from. Like, those types
Mhm.
of things are helpful. And I also lately have been using stories to gain information about my ideal client. um, we've talked about this in our business group about doing like a Facebook group or a Facebook community, but
Mhm.
my ideal clients don't engage on Facebook very much. No matter how great my content on Facebook, I could put the
Same.
same exact thing on
I know.
Facebook and then I put it on Instagram and it blows up. So I was like, how can I utilize this more? So I use my stories to do that. So I use the question sticker a lot,
Mhm.
asking
Oh, yeah.
things like, what's your self-care during quarantine? Or yesterday I asked the one that was like, if I wasn't a chiropractor, what could you see me doing? And it's just a
Yeah.
way to get more information about the people who are engaging with you on a regular basis. I've in my business one, I put the question sticker in there of like, what do you want to know about your health, which can help me craft posts based on what people want to
Mhm.
know. So you
And
can
see, that's
utilize.
very smart because that's like content creation, and you're just making the ask for them.
Yeah,
And
if
that's
you're like,
something.
I don't know what to post about today, post a little question sticker that's like, hey, what do you want to learn today?
Mhm.
If they don't respond, they don't respond, but you're no worse
But
off.
but if they do, then you have an idea, and then you can turn that into content.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
so
that's a
I
great
tend
idea,
to use
especially for hairdressers.
yeah, I tend to use that when I'm feeling a little bit
Mhm.
creatively stuck. I'm just
Yeah.
start asking questions in there, and also it helps me see which ones they don't respond to too, because a lot of people are like, oh
Mhm.
well, nobody. What if nobody engages with me, or what if nobody answers my thing? And I'm like, well, then they don't care about that. And you can just take
Ask
that,
a different question.
put it in your list of like things that my people don't care about, and
Yeah.
find the next one. Because there are definitely questions that people will respond to a lot more, or that they like giving their opinion on a lot more, and that gives you even more information. You're just really information gathering,
Yeah.
and which you can then repurpose on your pages. So that's what I like using stories for. And I don't do the same thing every day. Like, I don't ask questions all day long every day.
Mhm.
I kind of sprinkle it in. So you want to be giving variety. People like that. They don't like seeing the same thing every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome, babe. Can you think of anything else that we kind of haven't touched on? I mean, this is not the first time that you've been on and talked about Instagram. Is there something that we missed? I mean, I just want to make sure that I pick your brain the very best way that I can, so I'm not bugging you again later.
No, you're good. I feel like we covered a decent amount. I feel like we covered almost the same things that we did on the last one that I did. Yeah, I think my biggest takeaways with Instagram is really the best way to grow your reach and grow it fast is to really engage with people who have bigger audiences than yours,
That's
because
smart.
that
That's a good
they'll
tip.
get they'll get you in front of their audience, and that's kind of what I did, was just leveraging those other people,
Mhm.
through authentically liking and commenting on their stuff. It's
Sure.
if it's not authentic, people are going to see that. So um, if you're kind of going into these Instagram relationships with the thought of, I have a message that I want to share and I really am resonating with your message. So let's be friends.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this opportunity for you to kind of plug all of your stuff, because there's also going to be, I guarantee people are going to have questions.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, so I have two. My personal one with all my outdoor fun stuff is at PDX Outdoor Cairo. And then my business one is at Verve, VERVE, Life PDX. My business is Verve Lifestyle Center. I'm in Portland, Oregon. If you're ever here, look me up. And yeah, if you have any questions about anything, comment on the post on your page, and I can go through and comment on things. You can always send me a message, send me a DM, send me a Facebook message, however you want to contact me, and I can answer those for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I've had a lot of people super excited about this. I think you cleared up a lot. Even with myself, I'm getting some ideas going. I've been writing some stuff down on the side. So thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day, girl.
Yeah, it's fun hanging out with you guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.